guys, this is Comic Uno. Today I'm doing a review for FF issue 6, but before I start talking about this issue, just want to give you guys a little update. I have 3 reviews on Dark Avenger Inc. that I usually do on Comic Uno, which are New Avengers issue 5, Wolverine and X-Men issue 28, and Fantastic Four issue 7. So if you want to go check out those reviews, there'll be a link for Dark Avenger Inc. in the description below, so you go check that out. But let's talk about FF issue 6, which is, I guess, a good series to read with Fantastic Four, because they both have, you know, the same thing but different stories. So and especially the first couple issues, they were really good to read with each other. But you can read them alone. I think you get a better adjustment if you do read them together, because I think towards the end of this story arc, we're going to get to see these combined a little bit more. But in this moment, you don't get to see them combined that much. But let's talk about FF. The cover is pretty cool. We get to see Yancey Street. That's a big thing for the Thing. And Miss Thing, I guess, now also. So really cool cover. I really like the art for this series. I know some people don't. It's an acquired taste, but I actually like this acquired taste. I really like it. So good cover, but let's see if I like the story. So in this issue, we get to see Medusa's gone. We don't know exactly where she is, so they're looking for her. That's a little part of the story. Ant-Man's thinking about Casey, of course, having bad dreams, you know, missing Casey, so that's always a good thing, or a bad thing for Ant-Man. I guess he has to move on a little. And then we have a whole Yancey Street story where Yancey Street is trying to give a bad reputation to Miss Thing and even throw vegetables at her and fruits at her Carnegie Hall concert, so we get to see that. And then yeah, Ant-Man fixes that problem with the Yancey Street people and say, you know what, I have some information on you too, so you stop annoying Miss Thing and then we won't have to deal with each other anymore. So that's pretty much what happens. The whole Miss Thing thing is resolved in this issue, and then something weird happens in the end and they end up in the negative zone. So that's what happens in this issue. I thought this was a fun issue. I thought it was a solid issue. There's a lot of stuff that happens that won't affect the series that much, but I think it's a character driven issue a little bit more. I guess we could go character by character. She-Hulk really didn't have anything in this issue. I feel like she's been a character that's been on the sidelines because we really haven't had a story with her that much. Ant-Man, I really enjoyed his story. He's really taking leader. He does that with Miss Thing. You can see that they have some friendship connection in this series and in this issue that's evident. So he does take leadership in this issue, and especially with the whole Yancey Street thing, I did like that. And the whole Ant-Man mourning for Casey. I'm a big Young Avengers fan, so I like to see that, you know, Casey throughout Young Avengers was mourning through Ant-Man, and now, you know, father like daughter, the father is doing the same thing. And does this mean that maybe Casey will come back one day? Maybe they're referencing Casey so much because of that. Or this has some greater meaning. Or it just might be Ant-Man mourning. So I do like that part. I think that was one of my favorite parts. I think, especially as a Young Avengers fan, I like seeing that and seeing him. I think one of my favorite parts of this issue was where he talks to Casey every morning through his phone and seeing pictures. So I thought that was a really good moment and interesting. The next character is Miss Thing. I think she's just adjusting to her new life. She still is a singer, and Yancey Street doesn't like the Thing. Well, doesn't like the Thing, but they rather deal with the Thing, and they do the things they do because they like the Thing. So that's what I got from this issue. It's a very complicated relationship with Yancey Street, but they're like, we like the Thing, but we actually, it's a hate-love relationship with the Thing, but we don't want a replacement, and that's why they don't like Miss Thing. And I think we see that throughout this whole issue. I think we'll get more Yancey Street and Miss Thing. I feel like they've been alluding to that for a lot of issues now, so I'm sure we'll get a bigger story arc in the future with that, but I thought that was fun. I'm excited to see more with that. Medusa, I don't know what's going on with her. You know, they found her hair somewhere, you know, in a bad place. They're like, oh, well, this girl did something, and it was Medusa's hair. It's like, well, she has so much hair, you know, it probably just fell off or something. So here's over here. It's like, she has so much hair. It's like, it doesn't mean that she did anything. So we get to see that a little. I don't trust Medusa that much, and I think with this issue that's proven also. So we'll see what happens with Medusa. But there's definitely parts where she acts weird, so I think maybe that's what the negative zone thing has to do with. I don't know what's going to happen with the negative zone. If this Medusa is going to be there, I don't know. But I think that at least that was a cool cliffhanger. Kind of came out of nowhere, but you know, whatever. You know, series sometimes does those things, comes out of nowhere. I think 2 issues ago, Medusa was acting really weird, and that's what I'm saying. I'm definitely thinking that she's going to be some sort of, maybe a mole, some sort of villain, at least in my opinion, especially finding hair. You know, I don't think it just dropped because she had a lot of hair, like Ant-Man said. So I think this has a lot to do with Medusa, even though, again, these stories do kind of come out of nowhere. So does that, with the negative zone, with the ending, it came out of nowhere also. I think they're just like, we need a cliffhanger, let's bring in the negative zone. So we'll see what happens with that, and Medusa, because that was a big part of this issue also. So, I thought this was a solid issue though. Even though the ending was a little weird, I think there's good character-driven stuff in this issue, and a lot of different stories in here, you know, and I think that's what's going to make this series grow, even though there hasn't been, like, a big story arc issue, which I think Matt Fraction does better with the solo issues and solo stories and one-shots. He does that in Hawkeye, he does this in this series, and I think these are the better series that he's been doing. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Give it 4 stars. There's some weird stuff that happened here, some confusing stuff, but I'm hoping they explain in future issues what's happening with that. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. This is Comic Uno. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the right situations, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.